They lied to you about logic. They told you the world runs on fairness, reason, and clear rules. That if you just play it smart, if you just think harder, you'll get what you deserve. But here's the brutal truth. Logic is a child's toy. In a savage playground, the world doesn't reward the pure thinker. It punishes them. It chews them up, spits them out, and leaves them invisible, powerless, forgotten. Because beneath the surface of civility lies a darker system, a set of ruthless, invisible laws that govern every interaction, every decision, every move you make. You were trained to believe in fairness. You were taught to follow rules and trust that others would do the same. But real power doesn't come from rules. It comes from mastering the chaos behind the rules. This isn't just another self-help pep talk. This is forbidden knowledge. The 33 darkest rules of power and control that most people refuse to face. These rules are the shadows pulling the strings, the unspoken codes that shape who wins and who loses in life's game. Most will never see these rules. Most will never dare to learn them. They stay blind, weak, and trapped under the illusion of logic and fairness. But you're different. You're here because you want more, because you're tired of being powerless, overlooked, and predictable. If you want to survive, to dominate, to rewrite your story, you must understand these rules. And more importantly, you must use them. In the next sections, you will uncover these dark truths, one by one, and learn how to wield them like a weapon. Because knowledge alone isn't power. Mastery is. And mastery begins now. You've felt it before. That crushing weight of invisibility, like screaming into a void where no one hears you. You've been logical, careful, right even. Yet somehow, the world keeps passing you by. Doors close without warning. Opportunities vanish in the hands of others less deserving, less prepared, less right. Frustration builds, anger simmers. You wonder why. Why do the ruthless always win while the logical stay stuck? Why does playing by the rules feel like a sentence to being ignored? Here's the bitter truth. Logic alone doesn't cut it. It's cold. It's predictable. And in the ruthless game of power, predictability is weakness. You've been told that if you're right, you'll be respected. But the world doesn't reward rightness, and it rewards results. And results come from understanding the dark currents beneath the surface, not from clinging to surface fairness. The pain isn't just external. It eats you up inside. You start doubting yourself. You question your worth. You wonder if there's something wrong with you for not fitting in, for being too honest, too careful, too thoughtful. You're trapped between who you are and who the world demands you to be. Caught in a prison of cognitive tension where your strategic self is at war with a system that ignores logic. This isn't just about frustration, it's about survival, about reclaiming your identity from the shadows of neglect and underestimation. If you keep relying on logic alone, you'll keep losing. The next step, it's about embracing the hidden rules, the dark strategies that no one teaches but everyone plays by, because to rise, you must stop being the victim of fairness and start becoming the master of power. You've been carrying a label, the logical one, the fair-minded thinker who believes that reason alone should win the day. But that identity, it's a trap, a cage made of your own good intentions, locking you in a world where your power is invisible and your voice unheard. Here's the secret few understand. Power isn't given to the loudest or the most obvious. It's claimed in silence, in the spaces between words, in the shadow moves no one sees coming. You're not just a thinker trapped in a cold world. You're a confident introvert, a force quietly brewing beneath the surface, observing, calculating, waiting. Your strength isn't in shouting louder. It's in mastering emotional precision and mental control. True power isn't logic alone. It's a dark, intuitive energy that cuts through noise and chaos. It's about reading the currents of emotion, knowing when to speak and when to vanish, moving with a strategic silence that commands respect. The world fears this kind of power because it's unpredictable. It's emotional intelligence wielded like a weapon, a power born from shadows, from restraint, from from a deep well of self-mastery. You stand on the edge of something greater. The old self, the logical, fair, overlooked, is breaking away, and in its place rises a new identity, one that doesn't need validation, one that bends reality through quiet dominance. This isn't just a mindset shift, it's an awakening. In the next moments, you'll begin to step fully into this role, to see the world not as a fair playground, but as a battlefield, where power belongs to those who know how to move unseen, strike precisely, and control the unseen forces that shape everything. Your transformation starts here, and it's darker, sharper, and more powerful than you ever imagined. Power isn't a matter of logic. It never was. At its core, power is emotional manipulation, a subtle, invisible force that twists social dynamics and shapes reality before your very eyes. It doesn't respond to reason. It feeds on feelings, fears, desires, and instincts. This is the hidden nature of power. It's a game played in shadows, ruled by unspoken rules and fueled by psychological precision. Logic is the surface. Power is the current beneath, swirling, dark, and relentless. To master power, you must stop thinking like a rational player and start understanding the emotional battlefield beneath every interaction. The 33 darkest rules you're about to uncover aren't abstract theories. They're distilled from centuries of ruthless human behavior, from the silent wars fought in boardrooms, back alleys, and minds alike. Each rule is a tool, a strategy to manipulate perception, control emotions, and bend others to your will without them even realizing it. These aren't tricks for the faint-hearted. They demand cold calculation, strategic self-control, and emotional precision. But wielded right, they make you unshakable, a force that moves beneath the radar, unseen but absolutely dominant. This is why the logical approach fails. It ignores the emotional currents that truly dictate outcomes. It misses the silent signals, the subtle shifts in power that decide who leads and who follows. Now that you've begun to see yourself as more than just a thinker, it's time to embrace these truths, to arm your strategic self with the dark. Knowledge others fear to acknowledge. Because to win this game, you must first understand what truly controls it. And the rules you're about to learn, they are the keys. The 33 rules you're about to learn aren't random bits of advice thrown together. They form a ruthless system, a blueprint for dominance built around 4 core categories. Each category is a weapon, sharpening your ability to control, manipulate, and win in a world that respects only strength in silence. First, there's perception control. This is the art of shaping how others see you before you even speak. Power lives in the mind of the observer, not the doer. By mastering perception, you create an unshakable identity, one that commands respect, fear, or admiration. You learn how to cloak your true intentions and reveal only what strengthens your position. Next comes emotional warfare. This is the battlefield where real power is won or lost. Emotions aren't weaknesses, they're weapons. Understanding how to provoke, disarm, or manipulate emotional responses gives you control over others' decisions and reactions. This category teaches you to wield emotional precision, a cold, calculated mastery of feelings that turns chaos into order. Then there's strategic deception. The shadows hold the greatest advantage. Knowing when to lie, when to conceal, and when to misdirect creates an invisible fortress around your intentions. Deception isn't about dishonesty, it's about survival. It's the difference between being a pawn and being the player who moves the board. Finally, timing mastery. Power is meaningless without control over when and how you act. The world rewards those who strike with calculated patience, who wait for the perfect moment to dismantle opposition or seize opportunity. Timing is the silent pulse behind every victory. Together, these categories form a dark symphony, an interconnected system where each rule reinforces the other, building your power not just in isolated moments, but as an unbreakable force. Soon, you won't just understand these categories, you'll live with them, and that's when true transformation begins. The first 11 rules focus on perception and presence, the invisible armor you wear before a single word escapes your lips. This is where power begins, not with force or argument, but with how you make others feel the moment you enter a room. Rule 1. Master silence. Silence is a weapon few understand. When you speak less, you create a vacuum, an empty space others rush to fill with their assumptions, often projecting your power, mystery, or threat onto you. Silence forces others into your frame. Rule 2. Control your gaze. Your eyes are windows, but also weapons of emotional precision. A steady, unflinching gaze disarms doubt and broadcasts confidence. Avoid looking away too quickly. That's a weakness. Hold their attention like a predator sizing up its prey. Rule 3. Cultivate mystery. Let others wonder who you really are. Reveal just enough to intrigue, but never so much they can predict your moves. Mystery breeds respect and fear. Rule 4. Own your space. Confident body language broadcasts power before you say a word. Stand tall, take up space, move deliberately. Slouching or shrinking signals submission, even if your mind screams otherwise. Rule 5. Mirror subtly. Mimicry builds unconscious rapport and softens resistance. But it must be subtle, too obvious, and it backfires. This is a dance of psychological influence, where you guide without revealing your hand. These rules work together like silent signals, sending waves of influence under the radar of logic and reason. Opponents rooted in fairness or facts won't even see the battle unfolding. Perception isn't about deceiving others outright. It's about becoming unpredictable, untouchable, and irresistibly magnetic. By mastering these first rules, you don't just enter a room, you own it. And once presence is secured, the emotional game begins. The battlefield shifts. Next, you'll learn how to use emotions as your sharpest weapon. Logic loses its grip when emotions take control. And in the realm of power, emotional warfare is where the true battle is fought, far beyond facts, reason, or polite debate. Rules 12 through 22 teach you how to master these invisible forces, how to harness fear, anger, and desire in others, and turn them into your weapons. Fear isn't just a weakness, it's a tool. Knowing how to subtly provoke uncertainty or hesitation in your opponents can fracture their will before a word is spoken. Triggering that primal fight-or-flight response makes people malleable, bending them toward your agenda without resistance. Anger is a double-edged sword, but when carefully stoked, it can become a smokescreen, blinding enemies to your real intentions. You learn to fan flames strategically, letting chaos do the work for you while you maneuver in silence. Desire, often overlooked, is the silent puppeteer behind many decisions. By tapping into what people crave, approval, status, connection, you shape their behavior from the shadows. Desire blinds logic, making your influence irresistible. This isn't manipulation for manipulation's sake. It's emotional precision. The cold, deliberate art of knowing which buttons to press and when, turning feelings into tools of control. In this psychological battlefield, facts and fairness are useless weapons. The strongest player is the one who feels the room, reads the emotional undercurrents, and moves like a ghost among storms. Understanding these rules means stepping into a darker realm of influence, one where power is earned through subtle control of others' internal states. You're no longer just the thinker or the observer. You're becoming the strategist, the unseen force shaping every outcome. And as you move deeper, the shadows grow darker. Next, you'll learn how deception cloaks your true power, the art of becoming invisible while pulling all the strings. The final cluster, the last 11 rules, delves into the heart of power's deadliest weapon, strategic deception paired with timing mastery. mastery. Power isn't just about force or influence. It's a chess game. Knowing when to strike, what to reveal, and how to disappear is the difference between a pawn and a king. Strategic deception isn't lying for the sake of it. It's cloaking your intentions behind layers of silence, misdirection, and subtle falsehoods. You learn to become invisible in plain sight, a ghost operating behind the scenes while others flail blindly. Patience is your secret ally. Rushing in reveals your hand. Waiting, observing, and calculating your moves with cold precision turns chaos into opportunity. Timing mastery means striking only when the moment is right, when your opponent's defenses are down, their emotions raw, and the board perfectly set for your advance. The rules teach you how to build a fortress of deception so strong that even those closest to you cannot see your true strategy. It's the art of strategic invisibility, moving undetected, manipulating outcomes without exposure. In this dark dance, every pause, every glance, every delayed action has meaning. Mastering timing and deception gives you control over not just the outcome, but the entire battlefield. This is the apex of power, to act with ruthless calculation while appearing effortless, calm, and untouchable. By mastering these final rules, you don't just survive the chaos, you command it. The social world becomes your chessboard, and every player your piece. Now, equipped with the full system, you're ready to transform theory into unstoppable reality. Next, we'll explore how to embed these rules deep within your identity, turning knowledge into unshakable power. Now that you've seen the 33 darkest rules laid bare, the real challenge begins, integrating them into who you are without losing yourself. This isn't about becoming a ruthless puppet master who exploits others for selfish gain. It's about strategic empowerment, harnessing these shadows as tools to reclaim control, build unshakable mental strength, and rise beyond your limitations. Authenticity doesn't disappear when you step into power. It transforms. You're no longer the powerless thinker trapped by logic and fairness. You become a strategic self, someone who consciously chooses when to show strength, when to wield silence, and when to move unseen. This integration is a mental evolution. It requires emotional precision to balance dark strategy with integrity. It's about mastering your inner world before shaping the outer one. Begin by observing your reactions. Notice where old habits of passivity or frustration emerge. Use the rules not to hide behind a mask, but to craft a presence that commands respect naturally. Remember, power without self-awareness is chaos. Power with purpose is unstoppable. The goal is not domination over others. It's mastery over yourself. When these rules become second nature, you'll walk through life as a force no one dares challenge. This journey isn't easy. It demands relentless self-honesty, patience, and courage. But every step forward carves away weakness, doubt, and invisibility. You're not just learning a system. You're evolving into someone who controls their fate with emotional intelligence and shadowed strategy. And this transformation, it will reshape every relationship, every opportunity, every battle you face. Next, we'll unlock the daily rituals and mindset shifts that embed these truths deep within your strategic core. Embracing these rules isn't just about gaining power, it's about awakening something darker, something primal inside you that most fear to acknowledge. This power is not loud. It doesn't seek applause or approval. It moves in silence, in shadows, in the spaces where others hesitate or fall apart. When you step fully into this truth, you become an enigma, someone who walks apart from the crowd, yet belongs to a hidden elite. This elite doesn't need validation, because their strength is internal, rooted in unshakable identity and emotional precision. They move unseen, pulling strings while others scramble blindly. Owning your darkness is the ultimate act of rebellion against a world that teaches you to hide it. It's the realization that your deepest fears and shadowed instincts are not weaknesses. They are your greatest weapons. This transformation alienates you from the weak-minded, the naive, and the surface-level players. But it also connects you to a silent brotherhood, those who have learned to thrive by mastering the unseen currents of power. You will feel a new kind of loneliness. Yes, but it's the loneliness of the strong, the kind that builds steel, resolve, and sharpens your strategic mind. You are no longer a victim of a system designed to keep you small and overlooked. You are becoming the force that reshapes the system itself. This moment is your crucible, the point where you stop waiting for permission and start taking what's yours with calculated ruthlessness and quiet confidence. You are ready not just to survive, but to dominate. And what comes next will forge you into a legend in the shadows. This is your moment. You stand at a crossroads where logic ends and raw, unfiltered power begins. The 33 rules you've uncovered are not suggestions. They are the blueprint to rewrite your story, to shatter the chains of weakness and invisibility that have held you hostage. Forget everything you've been taught about fairness, honesty, and playing by the rules. Those lessons are for the powerless, for the overlooked, for the weak. True power demands something darker. It demands that you embrace the shadow within, the part of you that understands the world is a battlefield, and survival means becoming a master of perception, emotion, deception, and timing. Adopt these rules not as tricks, but as your new code. Let them seep into your bones until your confidence is no longer fragile or fleeting, but unbreakable. This is the path of the confident introvert, the silent strategist, the unseen force who moves through chaos with ruthless precision. You've felt the sting of being underestimated, dismissed, ignored. Now it's time to reverse that, to command respect without shouting, to win battles before they're even fought. The world will resist you. It will try to drag you back into the light of logic and fairness, but you will stand firm, a dark star burning alone, but bright enough to change everything. Step into the shadows willingly. Become the master of your fate, the architect of your power. Because the only thing more dangerous than knowing these rules is using them. The choice is yours. Will you stay lost in the crowd or rise and dominate? Your legacy begins now.